Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. Sorry for the delay. Apparently, YouTube is still having problems. That's just wonderful. Had to reset everything on the YouTube side to get everything to work. And there's a lot to cover. There is absolutely a lot to cover. Give me a moment so I can get my notes back. This is so annoying. All right. So we've got the White House considering the use of, I know my logo isn't there before I get started. It's not there because I have to use my browser because just we're going to rock on. The White House is considering a new framework to allow the IRS to tax foreign, uh, tax Americans crypto, even though it's held overseas. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be something to think about. Something else that I realized is that um, the SEC has no kind of it's two of the same article. That's nice. The SEC has no mention in the new 2026 exam. There's no mention of crypto. So not everything is being accounted for in all spaces. And we should keep our eye on that because that's going to be a very big deal when they start looking at things. Because you say there's going to be some kind of an overhaul of how you look at crypto, except we're seeing this. So that could wind up being a problem for us. What else do we have? Digital Chamber seeks a guide on crypto policy in the United States across all of the states. They're not looking for state to state to state different policies and everything else like that because that creates a matrix of different rules and regulations that you have to abide by. And obviously, that's not working out. That approach is not working out. So I think they're saying, well, if crypto is going to be at the level of, you know, money or fiat, what we're going to be looking at is some kind of a regulation that says, yeah, maybe we should rethink that. And I'm kind of like, let's see if they can create one. I don't think that we're giving enough people to that space to be able to rethink that. And that's a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see how the government's going to be able to pull that off. In other words, I just don't see it. Um, Capable, maybe, but effort being put into something like that, thought being put into something like that at all, negative. Then you have Fed Chair Waller saying that, yeah, he supports, given the tariff issues, and I was mentioning this last night, given the tariff issues, not tariff issues, given inflationary issues, he thinks that a Fed rate cut would be a good thing for December. Japan plans to slash crypto taxes from 56% all the way down to 20% in the 2026 tax reform. Japan's got to fight back. Japan's economy is not doing all that great. Once an economic powerhouse, right now Japan is feeling a little bit of pain, and we should, again, what happens in another country is going to affect the United States the same way that when something happens in the United States, it affects other countries. Now you understand why I'm paying attention to where each one of these chips are and what's going on with them, because all of it is going to make a difference for us. MasterCard picked Polygon to bring verified usernames to self custody wallets. Now, all I'm saying is that I have not seen whether or not, you know, they've closed the deal on Zero Hash. Word has it is that they're this close. Something like this. Do you see how that could play into that very easily? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Imagine having two things happen. MasterCard turns into Coinbase in terms of it turns into an exchange that has its own wallet, has its own self custody wallet. Ooh, now you're starting to realize. Yep. So that's a boost for Polygon, right? So Polygon's fallen off the face. But I love Polygon. Polygon's a great project. They do a lot of good work, and this ought to prove it. What else do we have going on? DBS Bank, JP Morgan to roll out interbank tokenized transfers. It sounds nuts. Singapore's DBS Bank is set to launch an interoperability framework that connects its distributed ledger technology platform to Kinesis. That's JP Morgan. That used to be called Onyx something or other. Then they changed the name, a blockchain system by JP Morgan. Now, they have theirs, and now they're saying we'll get along. Something that um, I need to bring out is the fact that, remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about how there were like two different groups in Europe that were creating like these little interoperational, groups or cliques that looks like the same thing, right? That right there looks like the same thing. We're going to connect our system to your system. I want you to really stop and think about it. Swift is going to have to step up their game, not just with Chainlink, but Swift has a system because of Chainlink. Chainlink is making deals. I don't see Swift making any deals. And all of these moves where banks interconnect, that cuts Swift out of that process. So as you move more transactions across over here, because then you'd say, well, if our two networks are connected, we're going to prefer this network for those transactions than this network. And so if you do that for each one of the banks that's out there, you now have your own network. Now, on the retail side, my question would be, well, if you have your own retail, if you have your own network, what does that do for me? My transactions are still going to happen. Do I get a discount? Do I get a cut? What happens for me? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Most of these interbank transactions, especially when you're talking about going overseas or going out of country or something like that, that's for business. That's mostly for business, right? VanEck Solana ETF goes live. Grayscale's Doge ETF expected to happen on Monday. That's right. That's right. And there's a crypto-friendly firm, Levelfield, secures an Illinois approval to buy a Chicago bank. That's huge. That sounds like Kraken, does it not? Yeah. I told you, it's going to be easier for crypto firms to become banks than it will be for banks to become crypto firms. MasterCard is not a bank. MasterCard buying Zero Hash. MasterCard's not, is it a bank? I have to find out if they're legally a bank. Not 100% sure. But MasterCard buying Zero Hash is huge. I said banks need to do that. Not a single bank listened to me. Not a single bank turned on my show and listened to me. And here we go with MasterCard doing that. And with MasterCard doing something like that, why would I go use a bank as an exchange? Almost every bank, except for PNC, right? What did PNC, the deal that PNC cut was with Coinbase and for way more than 3 coins. They're basically going to float that whole business model over to Coinbase. Coinbase is going to gain access to a whole bunch of assets under management, creating an easy, right, on-ramp, off-ramp situation for Coinbase and creating an easy path for banking via Coinbase for PNC Bank. All the other banks out there that are doing something are trying to roll their own or cutting a deal with some company, and they're all going to offer like 3 coins. Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Like what? Okay. I'm just saying. Those are not the coins I would have chosen. Or at least one of them's not a coin I would have chosen. And if I would have chosen Solana, it would have been way after XRP and BNB. Like, what? Anyway, I'm just saying, just putting that out there for you. So that's a big move for Levelfield to be buying a bank. That's solid footing from CryptoFi to trade fi. The world is changing. Just saying. The world is absolutely changing on how that all works. ARK Invest buys $10 million worth of shares in Bullish. $10 million. She's just, Kathy Wood and her team are just moving along, doing what they do, looking at what retail is doing. What I like about ARK Invest is that they look at what retail is doing as well as looking at what institutions are doing. They pay attention to both sides of the coin. Now, digital wallets to top payments by 2030. And now you understand why MasterCard is pivoting. Digital wallets are going to be the thing. And MasterCard is playing the game where we're going to be dead smack center of that. Look at what you'd be able to do with MasterCard. Not only would they be able to handle old school transactions over here, right? But in front of me, I'm able to, if I'm MasterCard, I'm able to handle more stuff. No comments from anybody? I'm shocked. You guys can say good morning. It's all right. Even though I'm a little upset because, YouTube was not playing nicely. So got to figure that one out. I think I figured it out. I had to reset the stream key. But imagine MasterCard. We're handling regular credit card payments. We're looking at buying zero cash. We're only a hair away from that. And we're also looking at putting usernames on private wallets, self-custody wallets. They get their hands on zero cash. They'll be able to do all of that in one shot. Zero Hash will just flick a switch and boom, MasterCard would have its whole network taken care of. Go look at Zero Hash, look at all the customers that it has, and look at the various services that they're providing to each one of those customers. And the kicker would be a couple of those customers are competitors. In certain spaces, they're competitors to MasterCard. MasterCard could say, we'll keep taking your money. We're not going to cut you off. Or MasterCard can go pound the sand. If it were me, I'm going to take your money. I'll be happy to take your money. I'll be more than happy to take your money as I build my brand with the money that you've given me. Just saying. They're able to, if this deal goes through, they're able to handle the past, clearly, credit card company, but they'll also be able to handle the future, and they're all set. Visa has been making moves, but none like this. So I'm waiting for Visa to actually make a move because Visa is the bigger one out of the both of them, right? Just saying. Now, something else I'm going to pay attention to. In this space or in that space, MasterCard makes a lot of money off of peddling aggregate data. Not just aggregate data, but aggregate data analysis. So imagine the information that they would have at their fingertips if they bought Zero Hash and the kind of insights they'd be able to provide their customers. That's what I mean by pay attention to infrastructure moves, because these infrastructure moves make a very big deal. ARK Invest buying 10 million shares of Bullish, that's a big bet. That's a big bet on an infrastructure piece. Just saying. Coinbase's cryptic December 17th teaser sends entire crypto market into investigation mode. Everybody wants to know, what are they talking about? What's going to happen on December 17th? I have no idea. But in case you're interested, that's what they're talking about. And right now the rumor is, well, maybe it'll be a base token. Maybe? Like I don't understand the reason why. They've been operating base for so long. Why do you need a token? So that's something I'd be paying attention to. What else do we have? Bitcoin whales switch to buying. Market tanked. Blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. What are they doing? Oh yeah, we're just going to go buy some stuff. We're not worried about it. We're just going to go buy some stuff. We're going to go do that. For sure. For sure. And I'm like, that's interesting. That would be mad interesting, right? So I'm kind of like, well, imagine what we could do. I'm going to invest anyway. I have my DCA sprinkle strategy over here. From a trading perspective, I missed out on another upside to Hyperliquid, and well, no, I'm still holding Hyperliquid, but I missed out on Aster. Aster was at 135 when I woke up in the middle of the night. 135. Yesterday had gone down to I think like 115 or something like that, and I was like, oh, I should buy in, and then I got busy with the day, and I never bought in. But imagine being at 115 and then going up to 135. It's a nice little penny. It's a nice little penny. Why? Why is Hyperliquid going up? Why is, you know, why is Aster going up? I'd have to go look to see if Uniswap went up, but why, or in Pancake Swap, but so what would do it? I'm thinking that you're probably going to sit there and say to yourself, um, it's because people are transacting right now. People are transacting right now, and that's what's going on. Now I want to add a scene. What do I want to send live? No, that's not it. I want to, can I edit this scene? I want to, because I'm going to have to share my, I'm going to have to share my screen later because, we need to go over the numbers. And I want to be able, ooh, there's a lot of stuff I can do when I'm when I'm doing it online. That's cute. I want to add a speaker. No. Email title. No, no, no. Just bear with me. So what I want to do is, because we go through the numbers and everything else, so I want to be able to share that with you guys. And there's heck of a lot. There's a heck of a lot to share. But I need to be able to add that scene. All right, so if I add a speaker, no. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've done this. And I had a scene set up before. Oh, there it is. Big fat button that says share screen. And I kind of want to share. No, I want to share the whole window. There you go. I think it's this one. All right, so I don't need this scene. I can delete that. So that's not bad. Hold on, let's do this. There you go. Perfect. All right. No, we're not going to worry about that stuff. We'll ditch this stuff because it's not big news. Except El Salvador did buy more Bitcoin, and Amina, a Swiss bank, actually got a license to actually operate in Hong Kong. But that's not the big deal, right? Let's look at the markets. Dow futures implied open down almost 250 points. S&P implied open down almost 2375. Nasdaq implied open down over 100. These are not small moves. Oil up 0.05, US 10-year at 0.023 down. Earnings today, let's see. Today we should get Home Depot. There was another one, Baidu. There was another one I was paying attention to. Give me a moment. Dolby Laboratories, only because I like Dolby. Valvoline is one that I like, that I'm paying attention to. Let me say it like that because I don't give recommendations or anything. I just tell you what I'm doing. So that's pretty much it for the day. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow is a huge day economically. Yeah, I guess maybe we could look forward to some of these numbers. Don't know. Really, really, really don't know. So we'll wait. Fear and greed index from 14 down to 11. There are all kinds of smelly bricks being laid right now. Just saying. We were at 125. Now we're at 122, just about in total value locked. Way over 20, way under that 150 billion dollar mark that I like. Is there an opportunity? Remember, this is DeFi. You want to pay attention to that. Hutanik was talking about how he wants to get into DeFi. This is where you are. Looking at these, look at this. Look at this. Just tanking. We're now below my pink band. Are you serious? Dead serious. We hit below 89. We hit 89 last night. Overnight it was 89. There's nothing pretty about this except buying opportunities. Like I said, you see blood in the streets. This definitely shows you blood in the streets. And you can see a little bit of upside going on right here. But you see blood in the streets. I like to buy when there's blood in the streets. Not even going to kid you. Not even going to kid you. Then looking at the big board, you can see just how much blood is out there. Look at hype, up at 41. Just saying. But, what else is out here that I might be paying attention to? So BTC, BCH, BNB, ETH, XRP, Sol, if you're into that kind of thing. Sol being down at a buck 37. I want you to do the math on where you would be if it just got back to where it was a few weeks ago. Not even its all-time high. That would be the GMB X factor. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about where would you be if it just got back to where it was? How much money could you make then? That's what I mean. ADA, LTC, XLM, SUI, Doge, SHIB, Link, Uni, Hype, XMR, HBAR. Who else am I paying attention to? Ton. And Polygon is right there. Shocked that it's down. Shocked that it's down. Insane. You're down. Are you serious? It's nuts. But yeah, these are the things that I'm looking at. Doge is another one I'd be looking at. SHIB, obviously. But these are the ones that I'd be eyeballing right now. I'd be eyeballing Doge in a big way. Grayscale's happening Monday. Or is rumored to be happening Monday, but I'm pretty sure it's happening Monday. That Doge ETF. So even if you get a nice little pop out of that, that's cool. And again, Doge is another one that you sit there and you kind of go, where would you be? Or how much money would you make if it went from here back to where it was? We're going to have a slew of ETFs come out. XRP came out. It came out like gangbusters, dropped a bit, but that's all across the market. It's not just crypto that's taking that hit. And I have to tell you, that means that there are big opportunities for crypto to go do something, for all the markets to go do something. Everything to me is way oversold. So right now, catching Bitcoin at 91 discount. Everybody thought I was crazy when I sold at 101. Yeah. Yeah. I just had a feeling. And I put my value to work elsewhere. That was absolutely the grand scheme of things. Look at this. Everybody's in the red. These guys are in the red. XRP, yeah, okay, you're at close to 5%. You know, my 5% rule. BNB is at 30. I'm talking about for year-to-date earnings. From 1/1 to 2025 to right now, year-to-date earnings. And I keep telling you guys, I like to pay attention to all of these numbers so I can get the rhythm of a coin, so I can understand what goes on. Because what am I paying attention to? I'm paying attention to how that coin moves normally with transactions and how it gets affected by news. And it is on the up and down like this. Now you know why. Saying that's just one of the ways that I pay attention to everything. When I'm looking at the losers, I said losers. There you go. Wow, that doesn't look right. That can't be right. Yeah, that's wrong. It's not giving me losers right now. Not cute. I really wanted to see that. I'm gonna have to fix that. But that's me. So anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowingMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this channel because we're absolutely different. In a little while, you're gonna see a whole bunch of new stuff. Oh yeah, you saw that, didn't you? Yeah, we have new articles that go up like all day, every day. These are all articles. That's what happens, right? Usually, what I'm talking about, that's what's popping up. So yeah, these are the things that we're playing with on a regular basis. I'm looking at all these things. I am paying attention to ETH going below 3,000. That's a big number for me. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, like I said, smash the likes. Tell your friends about us. Become a member if you can. Membership comes with benefits, really nice benefits. Then also, I'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Crypto Overflow. Everybody, have a great